Yo, what's going on? What's going on, everyone? Today we have a little late stream, a late night stream. I know I've been gone for 2 days. I don't want to really get into my private life, but I've been working or trying to get work, if that makes any sense. So I've just been busy for the last 2 days, but I'm back like we never left. I stole that. That's not mine, by the way. That's not my line. But yeah, today the stream, as you can read by the title, apparently the 355 proves that woke movies can't work. They can't and they don't work, right? That's what this proves. So we're gonna talk about it. Let me stop the music though. Let me stop it because I might go on a little rant tonight. So, you know, I was watching a movie. I think it was Licorice Pizza, and I see this trailer. It's a spy movie with some females in it, and I'm just like, oh, neat. It looks like a typical spy movie. They just keep going, and then there was one scene. I don't remember what the line was. It wasn't really a woke line, but it was something cheesy, and it showed a shot of all these women walking. And I thought to myself, man, these anti SJWs, they would have a field day with this movie just because of the perception, right? Without even having seen it, just the perception. But then that thought faded because I thought, oh, this wouldn't be a big deal. Like, who's going to watch this movie? It comes out in January. So January rolls around, and I actually forgot the movie existed. I swear I did. I forgot it existed. But then I saw this. It was kind of a shitstorm, so to speak. Here, let me show you. Here's what I saw. I saw a bunch of videos, by guys like there's this guy named Yellowcast or something like that, or Yellow Flashcast. I think you guys know Mr. H was a bigger YouTuber. All these guys started talking about, in January, mind you, these guys are supposed to be knowledgeable about movies and the industry in January. All right, just mind that. Just keep that in mind. But you know, I saw I saw stuff like this. Let me show you. Here, let me get to it for you. Oh my god. Uh, there we go. Now I just saw articles like this. Breitbart. Mind you, these are like conservative websites, like a heavy right wing leaning, bounding 10 to comics.com, whatever. They're mad because of whatever happened to comic books. And again, I have not familiar with comic books. I read manga almost all my life. That's what I liked. But, and movies, obviously. But, they mad at whatever happened to the comic book stuff. And I guess they brought their PTSD to the movie, the world of movies or something. Because, yeah. And anyway, look at all these look at all these articles like, oh, 355 is another woke tard box office flop. Breitbart, 355 is another box office flop from woke tard. Go woke, go broke. Typical stuff. 355, it will be a garbage woke trash film. And then you go over to YouTube to show you guys I'm not tripping. You just type into 355 review. You can go 355. Oh, look, we already have Woke Hollywood Reckoning or whatever. This is just a grift. Like I said, it's just really popular to make titles like this. 355 females. Let me see. What did he say about this stuff? Biggest flop. See, stuff like that. The Quartering, biggest flop in history. The 355 tanks at the box office. You can see, everyone pretty much has the same kind of title about how, if it's woke, it's gonna fail. You went woke, so you go broke or whatever. And the thing that's funny to me is like, no one would have known about this movie. No one cares about this movie, and it's not for the reason why they're saying it. It's pretty simple actually, and I will explain to you guys some stuff about the movie industries that you would think they would tell you, or you would think they would know, but you guys get the point. This is like the whole narrative revolving around this movie specifically. So I saw the movie. I didn't want to, guys, to believe me. I had to watch it. It has like a 29% score on Rotten Tomatoes. I didn't want to watch this movie, bro. I'm telling you, I really didn't. It looks so unappealing to me, right? It just looked like the stereotypical action movie in the 2000s. Well, I saw the movie literally 2 hours ago, just for you guys. And what do you know? It's exactly what I thought. It is a typical 2000s era spy movie. It was like it came out, it was supposed to come out 10 years ago or something. It was a really just old fashioned, like I've seen this before type of plot anyway. And I do wonder, I don't know how this kind of project still kind of gets out of Hollywood because it's like, yeah, so what's your hook? It's like, I have this really cool movie. It's like, yeah, what's the idea? They're seeing the storyboard, the director Kinsberg, he pitches it, he's like, well, think about it. I can make you guys a new franchise. Think of Fast and the Furious, think Mission Impossible, James Bond. It's like, okay, what's the catch? Well, the team is just full of females. Okay, so we're trying to appeal to the female audience. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I guess we'll do it. Let's give it a go. It was honestly, that's just how the movie plays out. It literally is just every other spy movie you've seen and just replace it with females. Now, the problem is what I have is everyone has this weird thing where every woke means something different to everyone nowadays. It encompasses everything. Because what I used to hear was first, it was like, this is what I used to hear. I used to hear that we don't care if females get representation. We just don't like when they push politics hard on us. A, B, it was like the other one was like, oh, and he's like, we don't like when they gender bend or race bend other characters, make your own characters. Well, they did that here. C, the other argument was like, yeah, and as long as they don't demonize men, right? Those are like the three arguments, specifically for like these kinds of movies. Um, the funny part about it is that like if we're doing A, B, and C, right? I watched the movie. A, uh, basically they didn't like these females. Like there is no like pushed, I would say, agenda where they're pushing females down your throat or something like that. They just happen to be their own characters. So that eliminates B, where basically they're like gender swapping characters because they're new characters, right? And C doesn't make any sense. I'm forgetting where I'm at actually. I don't know which one's A, B, or C. Point is, they used the original characters in these movies. They're original characters, right? Um, yes, they are all female, but you guys said it's okay as long as they're like not their original characters, right? And on top of that, they actually tried to give a background to each character. It wasn't like I'm driven because I hate men or anything like that. Um, B, it's not that politically motivated. I mean, it's involving the CIA and stuff, so there's politics, but not like forced or anything that's pushing exactly. There's not really a feminism thing they're pushing. I think that's just naturally within the plot, or as my boy YouTuber would like to say, what do you call it? It's nuance, I would say. I wouldn't say it's not really forced in your face, like literally. And then C, they didn't really demonize men. Now the argument they're gonna make is, well, all the guy characters in the movie were bad, which is not true. But then they're gonna change it and be like, no, 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 all the male leads were bad, which again is not true because spoilers, there was a guy in the movie and he was just caught up in a bad situation, but he wasn't like a bad guy actually. And there was a female who cared about him as just as a human being, not even a romance. So it doesn't really fit any of these boxes or whatever, right? Now, back to my review. Uh, Again, it's just a typical 2000s movie. Honestly, it's easy to tell why this didn't work. It doesn't do anything special. It doesn't set itself apart. It's too late, little too late. Um, Cinematography, there's nothing special about it. It's just okay. It's competently done. It's just nothing about this movie stood out at all. Females, there were some good performances. Um, they try to have fun with it a little bit. The villains were just dry as freak though. I didn't know anything about them. I don't know how much like and there's a lot of instances, I will say this, where you have to suspend your belief. So overall, I give this movie like a 5, 6 if I'm being generous. Like there's nothing special about this movie. It's just one of those movies in January. You hear about, maybe you'll watch it, whatever. It's forgettable, bro. There's nothing special about the movie. There's nothing to take from it either, if I'm being honest about it. You know what I'm saying? Um, and in terms of the woke factor, there are three lines in the movie where I can kind of say, yeah, that was woke. Especially one. The other two, I don't know. It could be taken as a joke or him being sarcastic. Uh, Not really too much woke stuff in here. There's like literally one line. And honestly, the theme of the movie wasn't really girl power. I mean, I guess a little bit, but not really. The theme of the movie to me was that these are spies. It's a typical spy, theme. We do this job to keep people safe, but it's more of like the theme of the movie was like we also yearn for a life or like trying to balance your regular life and your spy persona, whatever. And it's like, man, I wish I was how do you put it? It's like most of these characters wish that they could just live a normal life. You know, that typical plot or whatever, a typical thing of living a double life. They wish they like, for example, the main character, she wanted to a family. She yearns for one because she's all alone. Well, now she's not because she has her own version of family. It's like some Fast and the Furious thing or whatever. But yeah, the movie's whatever. So anyway, what you guys have been waiting for, I want to respond to the insane, I don't even know why this is a controversy. The insane controversy that is this movie, where because it bombed. It did what? It was a what's the box office for this movie? Hold on. It made like a $5 million dollars in the box. That's really bad, by the way. But the amount of money it was made for is like insane. I don't even know how it got that budget. While other directors struggle to get a budget, this movie is just, bro. You can honestly go watch, um, what's that movie? Not Totally Spies, Charlie's Angels. It's the same thing, but without the sex, the over sexualization of characters, of female characters. It's the same thing, though. If you want to claim this as girl power, the other movie, what do you call it? Charlie's Angels had girl power moments. The only difference is you don't care about the Charlie's Angels because, first of all, nostalgia, and the other second part is, oh, but Elise is driven towards men because it was so there was so much, it was so sexualized. They sexualized them, so we're fine with it. But whatever, it is what it is. But here, let me pop open this guy named Mr. H. Let's see what he has to say. Let's see his 200 IQ take that he has. First, I want to give you guys the box office because it did bomb, though. It bombed pretty hard. I will not lie about that. What is the box office? So the budget was okay. It was less than I thought. The budget was 40 to 75 million. We'll just say 75 million, probably 80 million. And what did it make? Let me see. Box office. Wow, that is terrible. $7 million. That's absolutely garbage. Yikes. Okay, that's garbage. Absolutely garbage. Let's get to this. Let's react to this video. Here, give me 1 second.
Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome to the channel. So, as I always do, generally, regularly speak.
Don't care.
This week and
by the way, this guy, Mr. H, he's a part of the anti SJWs. If you listen to him a lot, you can obviously tell he's conservative. He takes a lot of shots at people who are left wing liberals and all that stuff. He hates the lockdowns. I mean, he hates the mandates, et cetera, et cetera. Typical. It's just funny to me, guys who apparently don't want forced politics into their stuff are the same ones who are forcing politics into situations where there necessarily isn't. They always look through things with a conservative lens, and it just proves my point about, no, they don't mind if it has politics in it. It just has to be towards what they want it to be or how they want it done. So, and if you guys see it's hyperbole, these guys had all the biggest anti-SJWs were on one panel. Talking about Erotic, Jeremy for Geeks and Gamers. I think this guy was on one of their panels, The Quartering. And, all these guys, they made videos about this movie, and they always do about these kind of movies. And they had Alex freaking Jones on, the biggest conservative conspiracy theorist out there, who was successfully sued because he lied to his fans, and his fans harassed the victims of Sandy Hook. Not a good guy. Totally known for snake it's snake oil salesman. Totally known. So if you guys think I'm spitting hyperbole, I'm just telling you what they're doing, and it's really deceitful. So Give me 1 second, guys. Let's get into this video, and then we're gonna break it all down. Okay.
Weekend just gone, which was a star-studded cast, but has absolutely bombed, was the 355, which is the Jessica Chastain-led, also produced, I believe, if I remember rightly, film, all-female spy film, and it's absolutely bombed in spectacular fashion, in fact. So I thought we would take a look at this. It's a Simon Kinberg directed film, which he's produced some films, pretty middling. And the last film he directed, I believe, was X-Men: The Dark Phoenix, which is terrible. So let's...
Why would you greenlight something? Well, to be fair, is it that big of a risk if it's like 40, 70 million? Apparently it was, but I'm just saying. But still, not a good director. Very bland director is what I'm trying to say. I'm not, making movies are hard, but I just got to be real.
Dive into this, ladies and gents. So
get ready for these takes, man. I'm going to call them out.
This is just a report by Deadline. And I think, we will take a look at the reviews in a moment because, Rotten Tomatoes is an aggregator, right? So it's not the best website in terms of the overall opinion or anything like that. But if you look at the amount of people that they're aggregating reviews from, laughably small.
Here's another thing I want to point out. These guys are hypocrites even in terms of the stuff they use. One day they'll say Rotten Tomatoes is biased, blah, blah, blah. They're all filled with liberals and they hate on my movie, blah, blah, blah. They did this with Ghostbusters Afterlife. Critics apparently on Rotten Tomatoes thought it was okay, and then he cried about it being liberal or whatever. But when it comes to Eternals, they're like, oh, these critics are right, in this case. So they cherry pick a lot when they want to use it or not. So I would say that. Be aware of that, okay? They do that a lot. It's just they're trying to prove their argument one way or another. It doesn't matter how they're going to do it. They're trying to prove their argument, right?
And I think there's a wider discussion to be had here for this type of film and whether it's worthwhile, Hollywood pursuing them anymore and whether they're going to get the message, because they might. We shall see. But anyway, so the Simon Kinberg directed, produced, and co-written all-femme action movie, The 355, seemed like a perfect title for Universal. I think, let's be honest, Deadline thinking that this seemed like the perfect title for Universal just goes to show how out of touch mainstream media really is at this point in time. Deadline genuinely thinks that this film is the perfect title for Universal. No. Like, have you not been reading the room? Have you not been watching how these films have been bombing? But remember, ladies and gents, the consistent excuse has always been COVID. That's everyone's excuse.
Funny,
these films bombing. Yeah,
like it was
not the case when Spider-Man succeeds. Hey, it's very comical. This.
Yeah, you idiot.
But anyway, so Deadline believes this seemed like the perfect title for Universal to acquire domestic on at 20 million. The movie fitting in its theatrical slate, which is about diversity and representation. Remember, this is the perfect title for Universal. A movie about diversity and representation, which bombed. Like, what is this telling you? Right? It's not to say that films with a diverse cast or films with representation are bad, but, there has to be a balance across the board. You want a smorgasbord, as it was, a variety. And if this is the only thing we're getting, and you're seeing, 5'0" women throwing around 6 foot whatever, built like a brick shithouse men all the time.
Okay, so the first thing he says, this is the only thing we're seeing. So if you look at the data or stats, I'm pretty sure that 70% of the roles or 60% of the roles are still, no, it's probably 70% are still going to men. Like, he's going to make that claim and he's not going to really back it up. This is just his hearsay or how he feels. It's not really backed up by data. And I'll double check for you guys, although I'm pretty sure I'm correct. All right, give me 1 second, guys. I want to double check that, but let me let the guy keep talking, and I'll find a stat for you guys.
Time, it becomes a bit stale for both genders. Both sexes, men and women, are going to look at this and go, "Yeah, no, I've kind of had enough of this." Women also want to watch, a woman which is believable in action, Atomic Blonde, for instance, got beaten the living crap out of before she took down people. That's believable because a woman would get beaten the living crap out of when going up against male counterpart spies. That's just basic biology. I hate to break it to anyone, but that is anatomy and physiology 101.
Oh my God, I'm being so objective. By the way, I just looked it up. It's about 29 to 30% ever since 2016 of females make up the lead roles of movies. And in terms of speaking characters, it's like 65% of those are just men. But whatever, it's an unfair ratio. We're getting too much women-led movies. He's lying to you guys. He's not backing it up with numbers. The next thing he says is basically, "Oh, aren't we getting tired of these unbelievable scenarios where women are just surviving? Like you're not getting beat up, and they're just these invincible characters." How about almost every movie where starring a man, right? A guy, a dude, whatever, starring a dude, it's the same. It's the same thing for most of these movies. Even movies I love, like um, Mission Impossible, stuff like that. Yes, they do get beat up, quote unquote, but they usually come out winning and sometimes coming out unscathed. There is a crap ton. It's just that Mission Impossible, is one and James Bond and what's another one? John Wick are one of the few who does it well, where it makes it, they do get hurt a lot more than usual. But most of the one problem with that, with most of the action films, especially before in recent times, that is that they were invincible characters that usually just didn't get a scratch on them. So that's just a common trope, my guy. Whether at like superhuman level, it is a movie, it is fiction. It's a common trope, bro.
Anyway,
that's not just reserved for females.
Deadline, after literally stating, "Oh, it's the perfect title for Universal. It's all about diversity representation," then go on to slate. However, critics and moviegoers have detected a by-the-numbers action film. And that
is actually the reason. It was just a by the numbers action film.
Word of mouth is deep sixing the 355 with a 4.8 million opening weekend. Wow. 4.8 million.
That's garbage, ain't gonna lie.
That is woefully small. Woefully small. So that's a third place, which, I mean, it's not exactly got, third place, but with 4.8 million, that's because there's nothing else out. If there was anything else good out, it would have bombed even more. Remember that. Now,
I'm sorry. Isn't Spider-Man No Way Home still out? Don't let him lie to you. You see, you just catch him in the lies. Isn't that still out? I mean, it is. If it was just a movie that just did okay in the box office and it was this far out, I'd say, oh, it shouldn't matter. But no, this is one of the biggest grossing movies of all time. I think it's about to hit the top 10. I have to look. It might be. I don't want to be wrong about that, but it's massively popular, part of a popular genre with a popular character, a known character. Like, I think it's Superman, Batman, Spider-Man in any of those orders, right? That everyone knows those characters. What are we talking about?
Again, remember, ladies and gents, it's not just Omicron.
Omicron is a problem too. Is me COVID. That's also an issue too, by the way. Because of COVID, people are super choosy. He can deny all he wants, but it's proven in numbers. Why is everyone going crazy that Spider-Man is the only billion-dollar movie in like 2-3 years? Remember, 2-3 years, the same time that COVID is out. He would say, "Oh, it's because movies are just crap." That'd just be a lie. A lot of movies got halted because of production. If you go to it's caused people to be picky, even with great movies that I love, like Dune. Those original kind of movies, those great Lord of the Rings type movies. A lot of people didn't go see it. COVID. Also, people aren't really interested in new titles, new abstract titles like that. Not interested in slow movies. They want to see spectacle, big budget events, properties that they recognize, that they know, something that they know is going to be for sure good. Unfortunately, that is just the case. And COVID definitely hurt a lot of those movies. This is why Spider-Man is so big, because it was one of the few that actually got to $1 billion. And we haven't had that in 2 to 3 years.
Always McCove.
Yeah, and he's one of those conservative
But yes,
guys.
word
So
of mouth
COVID,
does
it's a
have
big
something
deal.
to do with it. Critics at 26% wrong
Obviously.
are saying to avoid, while Cinema Score is better at B+. But ComScore, Screen Engine's post-track is worse at 76%. And according to Intelligence, the 355's weekend box office translates to 360,000 admissions. That's real bad. In a whole of the United States, that's real bad. So anyway, Relish Mix says about the social media chatter, convo for the 355 swings mixed negative, as fans feel like they're being served a bit of a cliche cookie cutter action package in the spirit of Charlie's Angels, which is not what you want to emulate, because that bombed recently, or James Bond's Daughters, with a diverse mix of kick-ass supercharged women. Fans of Jessica Chastain, Lupita Nyong'o, and Penelope Cruz are super supportively cheering for success, but that doesn't matter because their fan bases are not that large. You have to appeal to more than just them, and you have to appeal to more than just third-wave feminists, for goodness sake. Like, seriously.
Was this movie
if you're
trying to appeal
spending
to third-wave
millions
feminists?
on a film,
I don't know about that.
You have to appeal to the majority. You have to. Otherwise, why are you doing it? Unless it's just a wash. It's just a money laundering, exercise. Like, for what is going on with Hollywood? Anyway, but again, Deadline love it. But amidst the COVID resurge, moviegoers are tapping their finger for Peacock or another streaming service drop date. Wrong. Absolutely unequivocally wrong, because people have been consistently going out to watch Spider-Man. So the title was the code name of the first female spy in the American Revolution.
Oh, God. Dude. Oh, that's so cringe. That is so cringe. He's just saying, oh, wrong. People are going out to see Spider-Man. Think of what you're saying, bro. The 355, which was barely even advertised and was not advertised properly, which no one knows what it is, starring unknown people, well, in terms of like casuals, with a typical 2000 action spy look, which we've all seen, 2000 action spy plot. You can just tell from the trailers, with bad reviews, versus Spider-Man with great reviews, starring, nostalgia as well, characters, which I won't spoil here, right? I don't know, bro. Which one are people gonna come out to see? Especially young people who, you remember, young people don't really care that much about the COVID thing because it doesn't really affect them. But I don't know. Like, come on, dude. Put two and two together. You can't be this dumb.
And became jargon for female intelligence agents. As Kimberg told us on Critical recently, star Chastain, who worked with him on his X-Men Dark Phoenix and The Martian production, approached the Scribe filmmaker with the idea of an all-female spy ensemble. They reached out to Cruz, Nyong'o, Diane Kruger, and Bing Bing Fan. Kind of sounds like it should be Bing Bing Fan Fan, shouldn't it? But never mind. Bing Bing Fan. With the pitch to make the movie, I'm sure someone will say I'm racist for that, but fuck you. To make the movie outside the Hollywood system so that they could retain fiscal ownership and authorship of the $75 million production and sharing the picks upside in various percentages. $75 million, you spaffed up the wall for that nonsense. Why? How does that film cost $75 million?
It's not even about the amount. I don't know why this movie, which is no different from Charlie's Angels, talking about the 90s ones either, right? Except just get rid of the sex appeal. I don't know. And by the way, did Charlie's Angels even do good back then? I'm talking about the 90s. Let me see. I'm actually curious because these guys praised Charlie's Angels like it was some hit. I just remember it being some like porn kind of movie, to be real with you. I mean, it really was. It was. That's what I remember, at least. There's just a movie, The Fapta. It's Charlie's Angels 2000s. But no, I don't know why this got greenlit. Like I said, spy movies are not in right now, and it's only just like older franchises, known franchises, that are holding that genre up. To be real with you, they're not in like that. That's crazy. Wow, Charlie's Angels was made for more money than that. To me, Charlie's Angels worse than the one I watched. Really, Charlie's Angels. I'm talking about the 2000 one. Its budget was 93 million. It must have went to the actors, bro. And it almost garnered 300 mil. So there's that. Almost not exactly a box office success though. Not exactly. Not at all. Because think about it, it's 93 million and garnered almost that amount. Not exactly a box office success. It's middle of the pack. So it wasn't even that great at all either. And that was at a time where people were more willing to, you know, check out unknown titles. Spy movies weren't like, you know, this property that young people, spy movies were properties that young people were willing to look at. They were pretty on the up and up. So, obviously it had some advantages, and it also having sex appeal too. Doesn't hurt.
Dollars. How? How does Matrix Resurrections cost $200 million? What are you doing? Just spaffing it up the wall. Madness. It's got to be a wash. It has to be a wash. Yeah, no. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Like genuinely terrible, terrible, terrible. So the 355, it's on a 17-day theatrical window and heads to PVOD very soon.
I really want to know what happened with the production with this movie. Like, why did they release this movie? Like, I don't know who greenlit it and thought this was a good idea. To be real with you, it's just, this is more like a streaming movie, to be honest. I just don't know what they were thinking exactly, why they thought that people would like this film in terms of marketability. Like, young people don't care about these kinds of titles, especially spy movies. Dude, Gen Z is not gonna come out to see it. And then you gotta imagine maybe it'll appeal to older people like boomers. They like spy movies still, and they don't mind checking out new titles. But you gotta remember COVID, so they're not gonna come out.
So I mean, it's not
for something like
any money back ever. Now, isn't it funny? 355 and updated demos leaned 56% female, 73% over 25, and 40% between 25 to 44, but also 33% over 45. Still not a lot of money here. And diversity demos came in at 50% Caucasian, 21% Latino, and Hispanic, 17% Black. Like, who does it matter? Does it matter? But again, they're always like,
the 355 and updated demos lean 56% female, 73% over 25, and 40% between two. So these numbers aren't great, but it actually does matter. I don't know what he means. They're trying to appeal to all these different. It's their money, bro. It's not like they're saying this to be, oh, look, we got more. Like we're doing this for just as a good. We appeal to these guys because we're promoting diversity. No, the point is they're using this to appeal to bring in customers. They want a bigger customer base. That's the whole point. That's why they have this breakdown. And you look at a chart. They want to bring in more, more people where it's not just all just like 80% white. Not because like they don't want white people, watching your movies. It's just because they want more of the pie. They want more people to come, different kinds of people to come, because they want. And that's why they have that's why they have a diverse cast as well. They want to speak globally. They want the Indian market. They want the Spanish market. They want the Chinese market. And I know communism, whatever. But that's not why. They just know that China has a huge amount of money. They have a big market. They're sitting there on a pile of cash and they want that cash too. So they're trying to appeal to all these countries. They're trying to get Latinos. They're a big, they're a big new addition to the population. They're trying to appeal to them, get them in, their butts in the seat. They want all the pieces of the pie. It makes sense. But it's like the money thing just goes over these guys' heads, man. It's just so weird to me.
My bloody diversity. And look, this is the thing which I
see.
Thought
He
was
just
funny.
thinks it's just my diversity. That's all he's thinking. He's not thinking money, but he claims to love capitalism. It makes no sense.
Was you can sit here and say, well, it's got 83% on audience score. That's only from 250 people. 250 people out of 360,000. Only 250. Like just over 250 people thought to review it. That's bad. That's real bad. That's a bad film. Like how does this film cost $75 million? It just begs the question, doesn't it? How does a film like this cost $75 million and you're looking at 4.8 million opening weekend. I mean, that is so terrible. But the thing is people have seen this time and time again. Terminator Dark Fate. Like, honestly, there are so many things now which so many media productions that are out there that are like, it's this is the lead, or it's this is the lead. And you're like, yeah, like every other one now.
What is he talking about?
And people do, I understand people want to see themselves. Sure, fine. If that's where you get your validation in the world, no worries.
Okay, this guy just contradicted himself. Didn't he say in the beginning of the video that, oh, enough is enough for the diversity thing, and basically you need to appeal to the people who actually watch your films or whatever? This is the same guy, right? Like, his mess. What I'm trying to say is like, no, that's the wrong. I'm putting it the wrong way. He said before how basically, what am I trying to say? He said before, and he also has said it in prior videos, right, that it's like they're trying to erase certain people out of these movies, and he's complaining about that. Isn't that like, aren't like those kind of people looking for validation as well? Because it seems like you guys want to see more male people, even though there's plenty of male roles, but it seems like you guys want to see more males in movies. You said that before, right? Why? And I know he's going to be like, oh, well, no, I'm saying that because they're the ones who actually want to watch the movie. But I don't know. It just seems like a weird thing to say.
After a while, people get sick of it. You do have to appeal to the majority. A third wave feminist.
Yeah, see there, right there. He says it again.
Feminist wet dream about female spies is not going to sell to the masses. Sure, if you want to waste $75 million, no worries, mate. But you're not going to start, where's your next gig going to come from? If you're spaffing $75 million up the wall, it's not good business. You do have to appeal to the majority. Niche products are niche products.
I mean, he is correct that you do need to appeal to the majority, but the way he's saying it is like, oh, he's trying to say it without getting in trouble. This is what I was trying to say originally. He's trying to say it without getting in trouble. He's basically trying to say we need more white male movies. That's literally what he's trying to say. And I'm not, yes, I'm being charitable. If you listen to his content, listen to what they talk about, this is literally what they're trying to say. Which is just crazy because like half the movies are still male. Well, majority of movies still male, and half of them are still white. Like a little more than half actually are still white. So I don't know what he's talking about. I really don't. The reason why this movie fails, which he just fails to state himself, is let me
so
see.
You shouldn't be spending such large sums of money on it. But anyway, we've got another video dropping on Spider-Man No Way Home shortly, which will indicate how to make a movie, I guess.
You dumbass. They love them use Spider-Man No Way Home. And I think everyone knows why that did well. You just can't be that stupid. Okay. You just can't be that bloody moronic. Okay. So anyway, the thing about it, and the reasons why he won't tell you why it failed is, again, this is the same thing with James Bond. This is the same guy that was trying to claim that what did he try to say? He tried to say that like, oh, this is the same dude who was like, oh, James Bond is gonna be woke because they had like a black female character. Then he watched it and turned out it wasn't gonna be woke. Do you guys remember that? And it had nothing woke in there, just happened to have a black female character, right? Those characters, by the way, they do the same thing in terms of they beat, like I'm talking about that character. There's a character played by Arma de Armas that all these guys liked. She was also in the movie. They all kicked ass, right? And he had no bloody complaints at all, right? For the movie. None at all. He had no complaints for that movie or those characters, right? But he complains here that, oh, I can't really believe it when females kick ass here. It's like, what, when all like every other action movie does the same, where they're like invincible or whatever, they can take hits and whatnot. Like, what's the difference, bro? What is the difference? Is really this the reason why people are not going to the movies? Because they feel like superheroes? You're really gonna make that argument? Come on, dude. Why did James Bond do so well when it had females kicking ass in a very fantastic fashion too, by the way? Now, obviously, the action scenes are better done. Like, that's one of the flaws of 355. Nothing interesting, shaky cam, whatever. But I'm just talking about the whole, he's claiming, oh, I can't believe when females kick men's ass. Like, I don't believe it. But, that movie did well. Fast and the Furious is another example of invincible characters, including an invincible woman doing well. There's a joke about them being invincible. So why those movies? And that's a diverse movie. Why is that diverse movie doing well? Think about it, guys. In the top 5, there's Fast and the Furious. Like one of them, I don't remember which one, or 2 of them actually. You have Avengers Infinity War. You could say it's a diverse movie. You have Avatar. It's a woke movie. I'm looking for more diverse movie as well. I mean, there's just a lot of diverse movies in that top 10. So is diversity really an issue? Let's be real, man. Is that really the issue? No. What is the issue with 355? Why did it bomb? It's freaking simple, bro. Again, it's an unknown property. No one knows about it. He's just never going to tell you this. Unknown properties, especially in today's age, don't do well, man. They don't, right? So it's an unknown property that no one knows about. No one, right? It's not like tied to nostalgia. It's not. And then you got to look at it. It's the spy genre on top of that. Not very popular these days. It's not a superhero genre movie. It's a spy genre movie. So there's that, right? So basically, Gen Z, you lost that audience right there. Right there, right? Because it also doesn't even look like an event film. It looks like a streaming movie. Add that to the list. So you lost Gen Z. Okay. Now, what about the, let's say, millennial to boomer audience? Where are they? Well, first of all, Omnicron and, how it made the audience even more picky. A lot of the boomers are not going to come out to go see it, right? That's kind of why, like, James Bond's box office was hurt in America, at least. So a lot of because in the American audience, the only James Bond film fans left in America are the older audience. So you cut that audience by a huge amount of numbers. So there's that. Now there's the bad reviews and it just looks like a bad film. So, and it wasn't really advertised. So that cuts even more deeply into the box office. Then let's not stop any further. It's coming after. And while still in theaters, Spider-Man, there's repeat viewings. There's some people still left over trying to see that movie. It's good word of mouth. People love that movie, right? So that cuts into its box office. And then lastly, it's in freaking January, my guy. January. Since when was it the case that great movies came out in January? January, let me tell you, audience, this is the truth, is where movies go to die. It's one of the months, okay? It is rarely the case that there are great movies in January. And there's a reason why. There's not really much interest in January in movies. It's usually where, I don't want to make any assumptions, but in marketing is just, in movie industry, this is the case, okay? People are just getting used to the year 2022. They're not even used to calling it 2022. No one's looking forward to movies in January. That's just the case. All the big movies start from March onward, okay? Don't let this guy lie to you. Those are the actual freaking reasons, all right? Those are the reasons. Nothing else. Now, in terms of, I want to go back to the point of female characters. You have to suspend your belief to believe that female characters can fight men, or they get beat up and they can, this and that, what he was just saying, right? I want you to think about that thought, right? I already gave you the examples of movies he liked himself, or he was cheering on with females kicking ass. Okay. So let's use that. Let's follow that logic. Again, right? If we're talking about Atomic Blonde, because he brings that example a bunch, right? I heard it has great action. It was done by one of the John Wick guys. So that is true. The action could have been better. I admit it. The action is bad in this movie in terms of the way it's executed. But it has the problem that almost every movie, especially in the 2000s, action-wise, have had. Okay, I don't know why they can't fix it, but it's just a flaw, right? But let's think about it for a second. That movie, Atomic Blonde, let me show you something. How much money did it make? Let me show you guys, because he keeps bringing that movie up. Oh, it needs to be like that. The woman needs to get beat up, which I admit, I agree. Fight scenes should be more realistic. It brings you in. It's good. It's good. It's good stuff when it comes to action to make your characters vulnerable. It makes sense. I agree with that. Let me show you something. This is funny. You know what the box office was for Atomic Blonde? Remember, this is before COVID. This is after the success of John Wick. Stars a famous actress. You would think it would have done better, right? Wrong. Look at this. Box office was 30 million. Budget was 30 million, box office was 100 million. That's not good. That's bad. Now it's not 355 bad, but remember, it doesn't have any of the baggage that 355 has. You could probably cut this down by 20, half actually, if it came out today. Who knows? Maybe it would have done the same. I mean, it is a better film than this, and also the reviews for this are bad as well. So I don't really get it. I don't really get it. Obviously, there's not really a hunger for spy movies, especially something that's not been established. It's really hard with the new generation. Like I said, the only thing that appeals to them in terms of movies, like going to the theaters, is superhero movies and nostalgia-based titles. They have to be these big event films, right? These big event films. Because even John Wick at first, it was a rocky start. So other than that, I don't know where you're going. If you're not Mission Impossible, if you're not, what's the other movie called? James Bond, Fast and Furious is now like a spy movie. If you're not these movies, by the way, especially in Fast and Furious case, that's a freaking diverse movie. But if you're not these movies, if you're a spy movie, you have a tough hill to climb because a lot of spy movies, especially in the last 5 to 8 years, have not done well. They have not. Even like Man from Uncle, which I like, did whatever in the box office. Okay, Man from Uncle, starring a white guy, and I like that movie, and I like that actor. Henry Cavill did not do that well. It did not do that hot, and he's just not going to tell you this, but this is the truth of the market. And last thing I want to say about this is the parts that were woke. Let me put up spoilers here. Spoilers. There were 3 lines in the movie that were woke. One of the lines was like, said by the video, you got beat by some girls. 2, really harem of girls. You could say, oh, well, casually he's being sexist. It just wasn't focused on. If anything, it was nuanced, quote unquote. It was casual. It wasn't anything like it was focused on or whatever. It was kind of like said in a joking way by the villain. I think to draw some laughs, to be honest. So there's that. There was a line said by this Asian woman, which I guess they're going to be like, oh, see, communism, they're promoting China. Again, this is just a marketing scheme. But anyway, she said something like, we're spies at the end of the day. We do this job because she was talking about the job of a spy. She said we might all look different, we might talk different languages, but honestly, we are all the same. You could be like, oh, it's corny, that's woke. But really, she was talking in context of really, we might look different, we might come from different cultures, but our job is still the same. That's really the context she was talking about. It wasn't anything to me like, oof, they're pushing agenda or anything, which is, yeah, obviously. Right now, the one corny line, the one over the one 2 on the nose line, which was very similar to how the Matrix Resurrection did it, was when I think the characters, right? What happened? It was like, oh yeah, she was talking to the dude who screwed her over. It was, by the way, Pryor was her love interest, right? And he turned out to be the big villain. He said something about why don't you follow your orders or something like that, right? That you're given, like how I trained you or whatever. And then she basically said, well, I don't need your help anymore. Something like that. It's like, she said something like, I don't really need a man explaining or everything to me. Basically kind of like a mansplaining thing, but she didn't say mansplaining. I don't need a man explaining everything to me anymore. That was the big woke line. That was it. Cut, end. That was it. That was the big girl power moment too, because they were all standing in the living room. That was it. So I don't know how you guys do it in terms of ratio or whatever. I don't know. Like, does it have to be 20% of the movie to be woke? Because this was like 1 line in the movie, bro. 2 lines, 3 lines in the movie, bro. So I'm going to end this video off saying, basically, you guys need to relax. I want to show you yellow flash, but I'm too tired. But you guys need to relax. It's not that big of a deal. It was barely woke, if at all. It was like 1 line, bro. 2 lines, maybe. Like, y'all need to relax, okay? I get it. There's a easy way to make money, and all that. I get it. But stoking fear, stoking like some backlash for diversity, because that's what he was doing in a roundabout way, Mr. H. And I really want to catch him on what he said. Something about, oh, I get it. You really want to see yourself in movies or representation because, you guys like have lowest self-esteem is something he was saying. And I'm just like, the whole crowd you hang with, they cry and say that they're trying to erase white people from movies. So would you apply that same logic to that? I wonder, Mr. H. I wonder if you would. The reason I'm presenting it to him is because he hinted someone in that video, and he's kind of explicitly has said it in other videos that this is the case, right? They're demonizing white men, right? So is it that what? First of all, you guys have always had, like, white people have always had representation. I don't really understand the issue. I don't really care what the race or gender is. I just want a good movie anyway. But it's just the whining and the complaining, like, God, please, like, you guys are trying to be the victims or something, this crowd or whatever of people. And I just don't get it. I really don't. Just because now they have a few movies where it's just not a totally white guy. It's now where now it's all the whole world is ending. Like, bro, if you look at statistics, this is not the case. You need to breathe out. You need to calm down. Okay. Anyway, my rant is over. I'm gonna stop here. Lesson is, guys, before you guys just follow these like content creators and believe every word they're saying, please make sure you do your own research afterwards, because they're not giving you all the details. Obviously, they're playing up. They're being partisan hacks. They're playing a party line. They want their opinions to be shown. They don't want anyone else's opinion to be shown. They want their agenda to be pushed. They don't want anyone else's agenda to be pushed. They really like conservative movies. Then go fucking support conservative movies. I don't care what political sphere you are. Other than, unless you're like hateful, then I don't want you in my chat. But if you're not hurting anyone and you're conservative and you hate communism and you love capitalism and this and that, and you believe in what's the word, in a certain amount of economics, or you believe you need to be a little more traditional, cool, whatever. I know a lot of people are like that. I really don't care. I'm not biased towards that. Just support those movies, man. Stop complaining and just support the movie. You guys won't. I keep saying this. You really won't. There's conservative stuff. You guys don't even talk about those conservative stuff. There's conservative shows like Yellowstone, for example. Why don't you guys ever talk about that? I heard that was great. But you guys don't really care. Let's be honest. You're not the mainstream in your eyes, right? You like the mainstream stuff. You're like a typical casual. And it disappoints me because Mr. H is supposedly wants to be a director, or he has directed stuff, but he talks like a casual. He doesn't talk like a guy who is passionate about movies or loves movies, because this woke stuff that's infecting movies, I'm going to tell you right now, guys, over exaggerate. And you want it. And the funny thing is, they're doing what they've been asking. They've just been doing diverse movies as new properties. And they're more than just being that character. They don't even really address, like, there'll be a gay character, but he's not just because of being gay. There's more to his character. It just happens to be gay, for example. But these guys throw a hissy fit. Oh my God, why is there a gay character agenda? It's like, bro, but he's beyond his character. He's more than being gay. Nah, I don't care. He's gay. You're pushing agenda. I'm just giving an example, but that's how these guys talk. So they're just, at the end of the day, it does not matter how well those movies are. If you are black, whatever, anything other than white, anything other than white male specifically, then it's gonna automatically be deemed woke. It is an excuse. It's a passive way to be all the bad words in a book. It just is. I'm noticing it. It's just a passive way to make it okay to be that way, and you not get accused of being, the derogatory term like racist or whatever. But whatever. People won't believe me, but I'm going to keep showing you over and over, and you're going to see that this is the case. It's just brainwashing. All right, y'all. I'm done ranting tonight. You guys take care. Love you all. No matter who you are, where part of the country you're from, I don't care. I'm open to diverse thoughts and opinions. I want you guys to come on, challenge me. We can have a talk. We can debate, whatever. All right, guys. Thank you for chilling with me tonight. Take care.